It's an odd story, really, a true story. I was in my car on my way home from a dinner party. I just left Evita a matter of months prior, and I was sort of resting, as we say, and I was driving home and listening to the radio, and the DJ said, I'll play the whole of Andrew Lloyd Webber's new tune from his brand new musical Cats after the midnight news. And I'd only heard like a fragment of it on the radio. I got to my front door, dashed out of the car, ran to the front door, fiddling around trying to find the keys in my pocket, and I looked down and I see this bedraggled, pathetic, sort of mangy looking black cat staggering toward me. And I'm trying to get it to cross my path, because my mother always said to me that if a black cat crossed your path, it meant it would bring you good luck. So I'm trying to usher this cat across my legs, which I did, and I rushed into my house and I put the cassette in and I taped the song, having left the door open, and when I looked back, there was the cat that followed me in. And it was so sort of pathetic and mangy looking. I gave it a saucer of milk, and needless to say, it stayed the night. And I'm playing this tape over and over on my Sony Walkman, and I'm thinking to myself, tomorrow I'm going to ring Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I'm going to say to him, you know, I know I'm nothing to do with the show, I said, but I'm going to say, but you have to let me record this tune, this song, because it sort of did something to me. It connected with me in some major way, and I really wanted to. I played it over and over. Anyway, I didn't have to do any of this, because the next morning my phone rang, and I got up, went downstairs, answered the phone, and it was Cameron Mackintosh on the phone saying to me, we've got a bit of a problem down here. Judi Dench has injured herself. She's not going to be able to play the role of Grizabella. Would you come down and talk to Trevor Nunn and Gilly, Lynn and myself about the possibility of taking over the role? And I said, oh, well, I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess. So what does it involve? And he said, well, it's not like Evita. He said, it's not, you know, it's not a major leading role. It's a leading role, but it's not you don't have a lot of songs. There's only one song. You've only got one song to sing. And I said, oh, right. I said, it wouldn't be called Memory by any chance, would it? And he said, yep. He said, that's it. That's it. That's the only song you've got. So I thought, well, I just thought it was unreal that I'd, you know, everything that had transpired the night before. And now here I am the next day going to the New London Theatre here in London to chat to the director and choreographer and everybody about the possibility of taking over. And the rest is history, as they say. I did take on the mantle of playing Grizabella.
Midnight, not a sound from the pavement, as the moon lost her memory.
Well, it was an interesting thing, because I have not done that ever before. I've never returned to a role that I played many years prior. But in some weird way, with this, it was a benefit in a way that I had lived yet another 15 years of life. The actual reliving of this character was in a way kind of deeper, more meaningful to me somehow, because I had more experience, life experience, and more, you know, as I say, down times as well as the ups to draw on to play her. And I was that much older, so it did make more sense somehow to me. And also, because it was being filmed, one didn't have to paint it with such broad strokes as you would in a theatrical performance. Because although this is filmed in a theatre, on a set, you know, built especially for the movie, but because it was being filmed and there was no audience or anything, you didn't have to perform, so you were able to be more inward thinking and a smaller, kind of more thoughtful performance in a way. It was an interesting exercise to be able to just to bring it all down and bring it and focus it right down and in. You know, as a character, she's and what her storyline is in the piece is that she's, you know, she's ostracized basically. They don't want anything to do with her. So, because every time you go on stage, they go off and vice versa. So she's lonely. She's ostracized by the gang, the rest of the cats in the community. She's mournful. She feels that she's an outcast. And of course, when she sees the young kitten dancing before Memory, the song, the big 11 o'clock number, she sees the young kitten dancing and she tries to emulate, because she remembers how she could do the same thing when she was young. And of course now she can't do any of those things. She's sort of old and weary, and so it's kind of, the whole thing is the song, I believe. And when she does do the dance, I mean, that was the extraordinary thing with Gillian Lynn when we discussed the character. This is way back in 1981 when the original show opened. She knew I loved to dance, Gilly, and so she said, I want you to have a little dance number before you sing the song. You'll see the kitten, you'll try to emulate her, and you just can't because your back hurts and your legs ache, and and you end up on the floor before you sing. Because you're just a mess, you can't get it together. And I always thanked her for that little dance moment, that little adage and collapsing, because it kind of helped the song in a way. It kind of grounded the song and gave it a platform as to how to spring off from somewhere, that everybody knew before I even started singing what the song meant. And the song, for me, I mean, at that time, and still I believe this is what the lyric is that, it is, she is an outcast, she is lonely, and she's, the glamorous life that she led all those years ago is something that's lost and far behind her. And it's a song of yearning and longing and wishing and hoping that it would return. And it's a song of reflection, I suppose, really. She's reflecting on her glory days and sort of saying, when I was beautiful once. And it's poignant because of all of these emotions that of her looking back on her glamorous past. And of course, vocally, as a singer, you have to negotiate the huge, from A to B that Andrew writes, from the lower echelons of your chest register, which is very low, to that big note on Touch Me, which is huge. I mean, it's this huge climactic kind of Puccini-esque, if you like, in its proportions, this song. So it's got everything in it, really, for a singer like me that likes to emote and tell the story through emotion. I remember when I, first joined the company, and I only had a matter of a few days to learn everything. I had to learn a huge opening dance number because I played young Grizabella in the opening scene, and it'd be interesting to see if anybody can recognize me in the opening sequence. I am there with all the others dancing my booty off, but as a young Grizabella. And I'd be surprised if anybody recognizes me. But anyway, so I had this whole number to learn. Then I had to stand in the group. The naming of cats is a difficult matter, that whole naming of cats thing. I thought, I'm never going to learn all this in 2 or 3 days, and this song. It was just a huge pressure, but added to which, Trevor Nunn and Andrew at the time had asked other writers if they would have a crack at writing the lyrics for the song. They hadn't definitely decided on what the lyric was going to be. And so Tim Rice had a go, Richard Stilgoe had a go. These are lyricists here in England. Don Black, who wrote the lyrics for Sunset Boulevard, he had a go. And anyway, and so every night for 10 previews, I was asked to sing the first verse of Don's and the second verse of somebody else. I mean, I was all over the place with all these different lyrics. I drove myself crazy for 10 nights thinking, oh, I don't know which bit I'm on, whose bit, what am I singing? And so it was a bit of a feat of a memory, I have to say, to try and remember the song. And anyway, at last, in the end, it was decided that Trevor Nunn, who had directed the piece, he had rather cleverly taken the lyrics. He made his own lyric, but using several of the original lines from the original poem of Rhapsody on a Windy Night, which is the poem that it's taken from. So, and then he deftly kind of weaved his own magic around those original lines, keeping the quality of the poems. That's what was so clever about it, I think, really. Bye-bye, thank you.